Today I'm hiking in the Blue Mountains of Ontario, Canada. It is April and it is cold. In today's video, I want to share with you 21 things that I did that absolutely turned my life around. I found myself at age 48, that was 14 years ago, ending a relationship with a man who was abusive. And it took me time to end that relationship. If any of you have ever been in that kind of situation before, you'll know the struggle that you go through to make that final decision. This person was absolutely cruel. I was 48, I was heading into menopause, and he told me that I was getting fat, that I was starting to look old, that I had dark circles under my eyes. And the craziest thing was, if I had one single little hair on my body, he found it disgusting. So I was like constantly shaving and checking myself. And it came to a point where it was like, this is ridiculous. This person does not respect me, and it's time for a change. So I made the decision to end the relationship, and I did, over the course of time, really heal myself. So I hope these 21 things really help you if you find yourself in a situation where you lack confidence, you have self-doubt, maybe you even feel shame like I did. So let's dive into them. So hey there, FitWise fam. My name is Ruth Sheridan, and I started this channel to help women who are 45 plus get more energy, feel better in their bodies, get fitter, and live a happier life. Because guess what? We're not done, we're just getting started. So let me just take my pack off here. I actually brought a snack and some tea. And if you want to join me, go grab yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, whatever it is you love to drink, and let me share these 21 things that will hopefully help you feel better, look better, get stronger, and more confident. So I think it's tea time. I love tea in the afternoon, especially when it's cold and especially outside. If you've been following me at all, you'll know that I do most of my fitness activities in the outdoors. I'm an outdoors girl. I love to run, walk, hike, ski, mountain bike, you name it. I do it outdoors. The other thing you'll hear me talking a lot about is adequate protein, especially if you want to get fitter and lose weight. I've brought some steak with me here, and I'll grab my handy pocket knife and just slice up a piece. It is cold here and I need some food. I probably should have done this at home. Let me just put it out here. Look at that, it's a perfect cutting board. I cooked this up last night and didn't eat it all. Look at that. It's perfectly done. That's good. It's getting real windy here. It's starting to snow again. Okay, so let's dive into those things before we have a blizzard here. I'm going to pull out my phone because I did take some notes and I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So after the breakup, I really let myself go. I was in a really bad place in my mindset. I started drinking a lot. I gained a bunch of weight, and I really wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't exercising, and that was a big deal for me because I owned a gym at the time. I owned a CrossFit gym, and I just stopped caring. I stopped caring about myself. The one thing I never stopped caring about was my family. I still had my girls at home, and thank goodness, because they were my top priority, and they really kept me grounded. After I went through that period, I came to this realization that I was going to go downhill really fast if I didn't start really taking care of myself. I stopped drinking, I started eating right, and I started picking up weights again, and that made a lot of difference. It created momentum because as I started to feel better and care for myself, then everything good started happening and I felt better and better. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever felt shame because of someone else's words? If you have, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're ready to get yourself back, hit subscribe, because my commitment to you is to show up here every single week to help you become the best version of yourself for the rest of your life. And if you haven't yet, grab my newsletter. The link is in the comments. I write a detailed newsletter every single week about health, wellness, and confidence for women over 45. I think it's time for some more tea. Okay, let's dive in. I'm going to rapid fire these. I've got my phone here with my notes on. Number 1, I stopped drinking. If you do any research at all, research what alcohol does to women who are perimenopausal and menopausal. It wreaks havoc on your body and your hormones. It's going to make you feel worse longer term. You might feel better by forgetting how bad you feel in the very short term, but in the long term, you're going to feel worse. It's going to skyrocket your anxiety and do all sorts of horrible things to your metabolism. Number 2, I started lifting weights again. Lifting weights is going to help you increase your metabolism so you burn more fat. It's going to help you look better as you gain muscle and develop this beautiful physique. Number 3, I started eating a high protein diet. Now, I did another video on high protein and how to calculate how much protein you need in your diet to preserve your muscle mass, gain muscle mass, and lose fat. The link to it is above if you're interested in that. I'll also drop it in the comments. Number 5, I gave up trying to look 30. So I had so much shame around the way I looked because of the person I was with. Back then, I was constantly trying to look younger to please him. I gave up on that. I do things for me now. I want to look good for me now. Yes, I still dye my hair at 62 because I like it. I still take care of my skin and I still wear makeup. Not to be fancy, it's because I like it personally. I've worn makeup all my life and I can't imagine not ever wearing it. Now, that might not be everyone's bag, but that's me and that's okay. And that's what this is about. It's about stepping into your own power and doing things for you from now on. The next one is, I forgave myself for staying so long. I did a lot of reading. I actually got some professional help around dealing with living with a narcissist and what it does to you emotionally. He was also an addict. And I had developed a lot of codependency, and I had to break that. So I got some help. I did a lot of reading, and I really worked on myself. And I forgave myself for staying so long. Next one is I cut out toxic people. Bye-bye, done with them. So anyone toxic in my life, I got rid of. I needed to heal myself, and I didn't need any more toxicity around me. Next one is I let myself cry. I allowed myself that luxury of really feeling the emotions and crying. And I had really stood up all those years when I lived with this person, so I was strong in front of my daughters. But it was time to let that guard down and really allow my emotions to come out. And that's what allowed me to heal. Next is I learned to track food. I tracked all my food. I still do. I track my food so I can monitor my food intake and really maintain the weight that I am now. Tracking my food allowed me to lose all of that weight I had gained by eating all the wrong things when I felt bad and all that alcohol that packed on the pounds. Number 11 is I swapped late night snacking for early morning lifting. So I stopped snacking. I started intermittent fasting. I followed the 4-4-12 method, which I talk a lot about in another video on my site, where there's an element of intermittent fasting, and all that snacking allowed me to wake up really rested because my body wasn't in digest mode when I was trying to sleep. I hired a trainer, and you might think that's crazy because I am a trainer. I'm a certified CrossFit coach. I'm a certified nutritional coach, and I owned a CrossFit gym for 10 years. And I just felt that I wanted some guidance and accountability and someone to cheer me on. And I know that sounds crazy, but having that support system in a trainer when I was just starting to find myself again was instrumental in allowing me to really start feeling better and stick with the program. Sometimes having a trainer just isn't about teaching you exercise and the movements to do and how many reps and how much weight. It's the encouragement and accountability that they give you. Number 14, I stopped dieting and started nourishing. I really focused on whole foods and didn't get too hung up on my macros right away, but I cut out the junk, started to feel better, and then dialed in my macros. I focused on protein first and then filled the gaps with carbohydrates and fat. And that's when I really started getting my body back. I started meditating every day, every single day. Even if I only had 5 minutes, I spent some time looking inward. I would listen to podcasts on my walk that were meditation based or sort of motivational based. And all those little things helped me in terms of really getting my confidence back and loving myself again and forgiving myself for having stayed so long. I treated sleep like it was freaking medicine. I went to bed sometimes at 8:30 at night and didn't get up till 7 in the morning. And I still do that. I really try to go to sleep based on my circadian rhythm and really looking at the daylight hours and going to sleep when it gets dark and getting up when it gets light. Getting outside first thing in the morning in daylight for 15, 20 minutes, even on cold days, it really helped me feel better and reset my body. I put my phone down and picked up my life. That was the next one. I had become obsessed when I was with this individual, following him, trying to track him down and who he was with. Sounds crazy. That it stressed me out so much. At one point, I had lost my sight in one eye. The doctors had thought that I had a brain tumor. I had all of the MRIs and all the things and brain scans, and it was chalked up to stress. So that's what stress can do to you. So if you're sitting there in a situation, whether it's a relationship or otherwise, and you are so stressed out, you can make yourself sick. So stop and think about that. It's really important. So that being said, I put my phone down. I stopped looking at social media and all of those things that were really causing additional stress, but also taking me back to some places I had been that were deep and dark. And I didn't want to go there anymore. So I really created this boundary around myself to protect myself from the feelings of the past, and that really, really helped a lot. This one was cool. I decided that I would take a photo of myself every single month as I came back and revived myself. And it is crazy the transformation I saw. I went from having this sort of dark look, dark eyes, I even had dark hair. Everything around me was dark. And now it's so much brighter. And the transformation, it didn't happen overnight. It happened over time. But to see those pictures and see that transformation is absolutely incredible. So if you're going through your own kind of transformation, make sure you take a picture of yourself, because you'll be so happy and amazed at the change in your appearance, and you can actually feel the change in energy from the pictures. The next thing I did was I started creating goals for my life, what I wanted my life to look like for the next, I was only 48 at the time, I'm 62 now. And I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted to, right down to where I wanted to live, the kind of person I wanted to become. I started another business after I sold my CrossFit gym. Like all of those things I wrote down as goals. And I will tell you now, 14 years later, they have all come true. And some of them were such pie in the sky goals. People who would have known me would have said, Ruth, you are crazy, girl. You're crazy for wanting to have those things. You'll never achieve them or you'll never get them in your life based on where I was. And they're all here because I wrote them down and I manifested them. Number 20 is I realized that being alone wasn't lonely, it was freedom. And that freedom was what opened up so much space for other things to happen and show up. And in fact, 14 years later, I am living with the perfect man for me who treats me like a queen, and we just have so much in common, all the outdoor things, and we're funny together, and you'll meet him on the videos. And sometimes you have to create space for good things to show up. So if you're feeling despair where you are right now, everything can change. And before I share the last one, I think I'll take another sip of tea. How about you? Now for the last tip. I started helping other women go through this process of transformation, change their bodies, change their confidence, and change their life. And that at 62 has given me such purpose, so much so that I started this YouTube channel, and am just so passionate about getting the word out and supporting people who have gone through the same things that I did. So if you've been made to feel like you're too old, you're too broken, you're too far gone, I want to tell you something, you're not. It's never too late to come home to yourself. That's good. I can feel my muscles growing.